This is Michael Blackstone with Lead Talk Radio, and today we are with Mark Long. Mark Long is the principal at VoTech. He's also the career and technical administrative person for the Lee County Public Schools. And Mark, first of all, welcome to the show. And let's just get right into who's Mark Long and what is the VoTech? What kind of programs you got?
Okay, well first, Michael, thank you for having me on the show, and I appreciate the amazing work you're doing of getting information out there. So I'm very happy to be able to share with you about vocational education. I'm very passionate about it. I am Mark Long. I am from Rose Hill, Virginia. There's a lot of Longs in Rose Hill, Virginia, and so I'm from that area. Very proud to be from that area. I have a wife that teaches Spanish at Thomas Walker and Lee High School. I have 4 children, and two of them are at Thomas Walker High School and 2 at Elydale Middle School at the moment. I have 24 years of experience in the county, and I've taught at a lot of different schools. So I've been at Elydale, Ewing Elementary before it closed down, Rose Hill, Thomas Walker, and here at the vocational school, and Rose Hill if I didn't say so. I've taught everything in elementary school except for 3rd grade, including Head Start, some of the best times of my life. And then I've taught everything in middle school. I taught in Maynardville, Tennessee, 6 years, 8th grade science. That's my only out-of-county experience. And then I became administrator at Thomas Walker High School, assistant principal, and then I have become the principal here at the vocational school. So 24 years of education. Awesome.
So what would you say is what's your bullseye subject that you would teach? Is it science, math, which is?
I spend a lot of time teaching science, so I would say science. But I think that my love was Head Start. Just to be honest with you, I just loved Head Start. So, but now career and technical education has been the second best thing that I have found, and I love career and technical education every day. It's so nice. Like in the hallway, the conversation is, I built a doghouse in carpentry, or here comes one of the nursing students down the hall, with one of those simulators on, like their 87-year-old grandpa, with the cataract glasses and things. So the conversations are just awesome. It's amazing the things that students, the ideas they come up with, the things they're producing here, and the excitement that they have. These are elective courses, so it helps out with a great atmosphere, and discipline problems. Students are wanting to be here. They want to be in these programs. They're electives and they chose them. And whenever the teacher should feel honored whenever a student, for example, in carpentry or electricity or auto mechanics, they give that teacher 3 years of their life. That's something that they love, and that passion is there. So I'm thankful for the teachers that they inspire these kids.
So give us the rundown of the various curriculum. You said carpentry, auto. So give me the categories.
Okay, we have trade and industry. We've got small engines, carpentry, auto mechanics, auto body, welding, electricity, farm machinery repair, cosmetology, culinary, computer repair, drafting, LPN, CNA, EMT, agriculture classes. I always call it home ec, which the teacher fusses at me about. It's family consumer science now. So we have that, ROTC, Navy ROTC here, Army ROTC at Thomas Walker. And let's see, I think I've got most of them.
So a question that just comes to mind, is this just for high school and down students, or can somebody that's maybe graduated from high school that decides that they, a year later they want to come back and go into nursing or something, can adults come in and also take these classes and stuff?
Yes, sir. We have an adult nursing program only. That's the only current adult program that we have. This is for high school students, but the nursing program just had its 50th year celebration, and those students, like for example our 12th grade students, they can take nursing 1 as a senior. They actually can do it as 11th grade if they can get all the electives in, but that's a tight schedule. But they can take as a first year nursing student. It's a 2-year program, so they take the first year as a senior, and then they come back as a post-bac. But we also accept adults to come in to take the first and the second year. The adult program here is large, the nursing program. It's been very successful. They have a very good pass rate. So
Is that free or is that?
No, so for an adult to come in, it's $50 a month for the first year, and then $75 for the second year. And then, of course, there's the, you have to take your nursing exam and pay for that NCLEX exam and provide your scrubs.
That's not
And
bad.
so, no, it's not. It's really a nice deal. So,
The alternative would be where?
Mountain Empire offers a nursing program also. I think the Southeast, LMU had a very tough program when I was in there,
Right.
or taking classes at LMU. I didn't take nursing.
So the nursing program is the only adult program?
Yes, sir.
But
It is.
even still, now, is there anything on the forecast as far as maybe in one of the mechanic places or something like that that is also going to involve adults, or is that in the state
There is
regulation?
not, Perkins funding that provides for the high school setting also provides at the community college level. So we push that to Mountain Empire. Mountain Empire has a lot of opportunities for adults. I know coming up, they're going to have a workforce program which is going to be free to the community for plumbing and masonry. There's some information about that that they're going to send to me that I'll share at one of our next meetings. But that is, we try and kind of push them in that direction. They have certificate programs for adults to take that don't have to complete an associate's degree. You can just go do the certificate. Some of our students go do that. The lineman program has been a hot topic with students here lately. So, but what happens is the students get to choose their classes and devote their time to that field, and then we try to steer them onto either a tech school, and Mountain Empire, of course, is our go-to. They provide dual credit opportunities for our students. So we have, whenever you think about education, you've got the core classes, math, science, history, and English. So those are requirements that the Virginia Department sends out. Everybody talks about SOLs. That's the word. Well, here at the vocational school, we also have a curriculum. It's VERSO. We are mandated by the Department of Education. And VERSO is, each teacher accesses that, and they have a list of competencies that they have to teach to these students based on their field. Of course, it's going to be different for computer networking and for carpentry, for example. So, but they follow that list of competencies we have to complete, just like we do grades just like everybody else. We have 9 weeks grades. So we do grade cards, and we have to get kids through as completers. So, for example, if you choose to be an electrician, then you'll take Electricity 1, and then you will follow up with Electricity 2, which is a 2-block class, and that will count you as a completer. You have completed a program. Now, there's also opportunities like Band 1, 2 can be completers, Spanish 1, 2 can be a completer. But anyway, there has to be a completer to graduate. And also on our side, they have SOL tests, we have credential tests. Every student is required to have a credential before that they leave high school, unless they're an advanced diploma student. So all the general standard diplomas have to have an industry credential, and that is our job over here to get them one. So we try to focus that on the field they're in. I spoke about ASE with you earlier. ASE certification in auto body and auto mechanics, they can just keep working through certifications. You don't just have to stop at one,
Right.
but they have to at least attain one.
So tell us a little about this this certification and what's happening here in the VoTech with that.
So what I do is every instructor that has year 2 students, so they've come through their program the first year, they come through the second year. They target those second year students as getting them a credential. Now some programs have year 3s, but we want them to get that. For example, the CNA class. They want to leave here with a certified nursing credential,
Right.
A CNA credential, just like you can go up here to the nursing home and take the classes. So we want them to leave with that in their area. Now we have a workplace readiness test that if a student does not master that curriculum, they can take a workplace readiness test, and it is a general assessment test. The Department of Education sends funding to cover these tests. I have some testing credentialing money that we pay for these tests. Some of them are very expensive. Like if you're in drafting, for example, or if you're taking a Cisco or a CompTIA A++ or one of those types of certifications, some of those can be over $100 just for one credential test.
Right.
Whereas some credential tests are $10.
So these ASC stuff in regards to auto body and the mechanics, tell me a little about that. Expand on that. What exactly level are these students accredited to, and what does that mean for the general public? What's it mean for me?
So ASE certification, that is a requirement by Career and Technical Education to get your shop certified. We have also small engine shop and farm machinery shop, EETC certified, more acronyms.
Right.
And then the next push is for the welding shop to be certified, AWS, American Welding Society certified. So what that is, sometimes we want to accuse it to be a money ploy, but it means that our shop has met the standards. They come in, has to be we have to do a renewal. We just actually completed renewal with Auto Body for another 5 years. At the 2.5 mark here, they come in and they review again. So ASE actually sends in a person to monitor our program. We have to follow their guidelines, and they come in and do an assessment and a check on that 5-year mark. And
so that certifies the facility.
It does. It certifies the facility, and then the instructor is both instructors are ASE certified. They have instructor credentials so that they can give the ASE credential test to the students. Now, the students can do, for example, auto finishing. There's different levels to it for different things. Can you repair a dent? Can you paint? Primer, there's lots of different things to the auto body. Down in auto mechanics, oil change, light general maintenance, repairs. They have those sensors they hook up to diagnostics to check out what's wrong with your vehicle. So each of those have a credential with them, and you can start out, like, for example, if you're doing brake, if they're getting ASE brake certification, then they can move into just light repair or as we talked about, oil changes and things. So all of these things fall under different tests, and the student cannot stop at one if they can move on to the next one or the next one, and we will provide that opportunity for them.
So the student, when they come out of here, they actually can have certifications in these, so that when they go out into the private sector, they're able to approach employers and say, look, I'm ASE certified to work on brakes.
Correct.
Or whatever.
Yes. And we like to, the last time we had, the past 2 years, because of COVID, of course, there was waivers for the credentials, but
right.
Any student who asked for one, we would provide that opportunity for them to get a credential. But last year we had the majority of students that decided to do remote learning. And that really hurt career and technical education, because
sure.
you might have a year, like, for example, in March when we dismissed that year, kids that were in welding, let's just talk about that for the welding. They only were in welding from January and February. We left out in March. Well, they got to do their work online as a year one welding student, and then you come back in the fall and you sign up and you go virtual again and you complete the curriculum for year two. But have you ever turned a welder on?
Right, exactly.
So then that gives me great anxiety of saying, I certify this person, yes, they are a welder. They've had 2 years of welding. But see what COVID did, that's where COVID hurt us. That's one of the things we are now backtracking. Kids that were virtual last year on their year one classes, they're having to have a lot of intense training on their year twos. And they have to have the electives.
Not everything's virtual. You know what I'm saying? It's there's a lot of hands-on, and in fact, a lot of students. There are certain things in that I might be learning that I can look at a video and bang, I got it, and I can just go on. So
yes.
That virtual type of experience is done. But then there are some things that I want to actually watch you do it. I want to physically, hands-on, do that transaction.
And that's this whole side of the bridge. Hands-on.
Welding and all those things.
Yes.
I mean, like you said, have you ever even turned on a welder? There is a right way and lots of messed up ways that you can, do welding.
And I told the instructors here, I said, let's all be honest with all employees. Whenever people call about a student, let's be very honest with them, because
Sure.
It is what it is. We've been in COVID, and we will definitely, I know several of the instructors have taken students that have graduated back in just to review skills with them. That's happened a lot this semester. Students
Right.
have come back just to review skills because they want to go on and get a job. But now the board, I have to say thank you to the board, to the superintendents, that they allowed career and technical to stay open for any student who would come. Of course, they had, because of the mandates and things, they got to stay home if they wanted to. But there was a lot of students that took advantage, and they would come, and we'd just make alternative schedules for them. There wasn't that many students here, and we'd just make time for them to come in the shop and work.
That's good.
Yes.
Well, thank God we're hopefully beyond that, and everybody can get back into the business as usual. I'm sure you and every educator, everybody on this planet is sick of the whole COVID.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we just want it to go away, period. So all I can say about that is I hope our leaders and people in the medical and science world are making that happen. And so tell me about the programs you've got, upcoming events. What's happening? Are there specific programs that you guys are initiating? And also, as in everything, I want to know, how does the general public help? I'm not in school, obviously. I don't have kids in school, so I don't know what goes on behind these walls. And I would say there's probably a lot of people just like me out there, whether they're business owners or just people in the community. So tell me about those.
Okay, so I today want to reach out to the public and tell you I need your help.
Okay, good.
So what I need help with from the public, career and technical education, we got the education side, we've got the requirements down pat. But what we need help from is this career and technical education has to involve the communities. It has to. It has to involve business and industry. Our advisory council, we want business owners sitting on our advisory councils. And the reason being is because you're going to tell us what's the latest trends, what's the latest equipment, what do these students need to know to be successful. Also, I get feedback from employees all the time. These kids come and all they do is use their cell phone, because they have to also have that soft skill taught to them. It's not polite for you to talk with me while you're looking at your screen, and that is things we teach here.
Sure.
But everybody has one in their hand, Everybody's walking around with that. So that feedback is priceless to us. Are our students showing up on time? Do we teach that skill? You have to start work at 10 o'clock. You got to be there before 10 o'clock.
Right.
Those are things that we still have to realize these are children, and we have to train them in that way. So how can we have help from the public? One thing is by job shadowing, and we have job shadowing day set. And for all the business owners out there, please reach out. If you know students, you can reach out to a student and say, hey, would you like to job shadow here? And the job shadowing day for the fall, we have two. We have job shadowing in the fall and in the spring. And I have the date right here. Let me find mine. It's the 17th, I think. I thought I had that on this list of upcoming. I'll find it right here on my information. So on December the 7th, the second thing I want to reach out to the public about is we're going to have what we call craft committees. And so any program here, for example, let's think about small engines for a minute. There's a small engine repair down here with the co-op. So and Mr. Williams does reach out to those people, but we want them to show up on that night, on December the 7th, which is a Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, and be a part of a craft committee. And they can talk with Mr. Williams and explain what kind of things that they are seeing in the community, needs, challenges, what he can help to train our students that they can go out. There's also, I know several people who do small engine repair just individual. We want those folks to come in too and be a part of this committee. So right now what I've got the instructors submitting to me at least 3 names of people in the community that could come and sit on their committee. Agriculture, they will reach out to people like, for example, the vet school and the veterinarian clinic here, and different places for agriculture, the ASE office and ASCS office, and different branches. We want those folks to come in here that night at 6 o'clock and give us input. When they come, we will put them out into the different programs. They'll go to those actual shops, and then they can I'll have a small agenda of items that we're interested in correlating with the public about, but they can come in and bring all their vast knowledge and wisdom to us and help us out with some things that we need. So that is coming up.
Let's drop back to job shadowing.
Yes, sir.
So explain exactly what that means.
Job shadowing is whenever we assign the career and technical teachers to reach out to business people and get the students out into the job for a day. And so they get to come and, for example, a student could job shadow you. Might could sit in on an interview like this. You could explain to them how your technology works. For a student who's interested in broadcasting or in social media management, they would follow you around for the day just to see what a typical day of your business would be like. This can be, if you're a lawyer, they can job shadow with you. Healthcare, agriculture, you're cutting corn, picking corn that day, and some of these people have no idea about how a corn picker works. Take them because this is agriculture.
Any restrictions as far as, can this be done firefighter, police officer, so on, or?
We have had students job shadow with a police officer before, but yes, there are requirements. They should not be using saws, dangerous equipment, trash compactors, things of that nature.
Right.
But they just get to job shadow and evaluate. So in order to keep that real, we asked the employer to email back in a form that student was actually there that day. So it's not just a layout day for the student,
Right.
They actually are required to go. Then this we record on their permanent record as a work-based learning opportunity for the students. And that goes with them whenever they graduate. They have had these work-based learning experiences.
And a student can go out and job shadow various industries, correct?
Yes, we ask the students to pick a place, and then they report to their career and technical teacher, and that teacher will then help them reach out and ask it, can I come on that day, and can I job shadow you for the day?
Right.
So
Okay.
it works out nicely. We target 2 dates. We always target one in November, and we target one in February usually. And February usually has some rougher weather, so sometimes we have to.
Now, outside of those planned days, can an employer or a business owner contact you guys and say, look, on this day, I would have available where I could have a shadow, and thus maybe you step off your outside the perimeters of your scheduled dates? Can that happen as well?
Yes, sir, it can. If there's a special opportunity day, we would love for our students to be a part of that. And that is just communication back and forth with us, just so we can get approved. We can put it in as an excused absence for that reason. So yes, anything that will better the student, we can make work.
Okay.
Yes, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that.
So we need help from the general public, just flat learning what programs are out there and then get involved. I mean, that's as simple as that.
Exactly. And so how can the public be involved with us? They can attend our advisory meetings and speak with our teachers at any time.
How do we know when those are happening?
So we have an advisory meeting that happens. We just worked out our bylaws 4 times a year. It's going to be the set dates every 3 months. So the advisory committee has a limit though, but these craft committees are. This is. Going to be in the fall semester, possibly maybe another one in the spring semester, but we're going to see how well this one goes, how much information and input we can get in. We had one last year, and we invited welders, carpenters, and electricians to come, and we didn't have a big turnout. So I would encourage any business owner that's interested to contact me, and we would be happy. We really do need the input and the help.
I think the liaison between school and the general public, I think this is Virginia, but I think we got the Grand Canyon going on right here. And what I mean by that is, and I'm not throwing rocks at anybody, I'm throwing rocks at everybody, saying, look, if we don't know, if I don't know, how can I fix it, or how can I even help, and vice versa. And when I say there's a Grand Canyon, you have. Just look at our largest employers in Lee County. We've got schools, we've got the county, and we got the prisons. And then we drop off and we've got scattered businesses throughout the county that employ, a few people. But the mass employers are those 3 industries. So if I don't have kids in school, which I don't, and it's been a long time since I've been in school, so I'm out there day to day running my business. I'm fighting the economic dragons and stuff that we have to go out and look at in business every day. The school board, it's like its own little kingdom. You all have our kids, and you're teaching them and all these wonderful things, but a guy like me, I have no clue, nor do most of these business owners, especially you mentioned, contractors and folks that are in the trades, they're out on job sites, and they've got their own set of issues, and their own set of issues these days is finding somebody that'll show up to work. And without going into a political rant on that whole idea, we as employers, we got serious problems just getting people to work.
Correct.
And I know that that's some of the basics you're teaching, the students, is that they've got to be on time, comb your hair, brush your teeth, and on and on. But as an employer, as a business owner, any kind of a professional in the community, if I'm a contractor and I don't have kids in school and I'm working job sites, how do I get this? I don't see stuff I don't see things out there in the media much. Is there websites that people can go to? And a lot of people in the trades don't have a lot of time to sit and look at websites.
Correct.
So there has to be some way that we start bridging that Grand Canyon that is here. Thus, that is in the passing of information. Obviously, the reason we started this radio station, and we're talking to you. So I want to know some basics that the rest of the general public is going to listen to, and know, how do we interact with you? How do we know this stuff? I see the papers in front of me with your schedules. How do I get that? How do I know that? Is there a place that I can go to? And then I think that it becomes your job, my job, and every other form of media in this area to push that out there, share that type of stuff. Because if we don't know, it doesn't happen. There's an example which really got me fired up in getting this radio station started. I live about 2 miles from the airport. And with the things that I do in and around the county, I try to think that I'm fairly in the know about stuff that's happening. There was a couple of events out at the airport. The county's trying to crank up the airport, get something happening out there. Let's progress. Let's see the light in Lee County. And how I found out about those? Now, I could literally walk to the airport, and I wasn't doing anything that would have stopped me from going to these events. I read about them in the newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
Well, believe me, when I'm reading about them in the newspaper, they've already happened.
It's past, yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, I should have been there. I should have been able to share the information coming from those events and those meetings to my circle and whatever circle of influence I might have in sharing information. I wasn't there because I didn't even know what was going on. That right there is the Grand Canyon, right straight down the middle of Lee County, and everybody has got to work to crisscross over that and stuff. So, point blank, how do I get this information? Because I can't even come up to the front door without it being locked and got a buzz and have my masks.
Correct, yes.
And, you know what I'm saying? Wash my elbows and all this kind of nonsense. So, how do I even do that? I can't even turn a cell phone on in that building over there. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying we don't need those. That's all security precautions, and I understand.
Correct,
I'm just saying,
yes.
I'm standing out here twiddling my thumbs, getting no information. Where do I get this information from?
Okay, so I think I agree with you 100%. We do a bad job of getting all the information out. There are robocalls from the school, but that goes to students, to parents and things. So
I'm in that industry. I don't even. I mean,
people
and
ignore them.
I'm not going to start throwing rocks at you guys, but that's telling me that we're going to entertain stuff with a robocall or any of that is zero. How many robocalls have I gotten? None. You want to know why I don't get robocalls? Because unless I'm in your system and I voluntarily signed up and given you a pint of blood to get into this deal so you can do the robocalls, which are coming out of probably technology that is owned by companies out of Canada in our United States. So there's a big detachment. But me, the general public, everything's gone wireless. I don't have a landline at my house. Do you have a landline?
I do not.
Okay, and how many years have you not have a landline? I haven't had landlines in years.
Yes.
It's all wireless. Fact of the matter is, my business is wireless. I don't have landlines there either. So how are you going to get my number? It's illegal for you to do stuff with the current telephonic laws to. It's not like you can buy a list of cell numbers and things like that. So guess what? I'm not the only guy that's gone wireless. In fact, most of this county is in and around that. So basically, we're out. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And this is I don't want to put the hot spot on you.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
These programs are important. And what you do is extremely important, and you're doing a jam-up job. But you need the help of the other side. And, we do not need to put people on a battlefield and give them plastic knives and forks to fight the other guys that, have got serious weaponry. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We need to have the proper tools to do a proper job. You may have the proper tools to teach and be ASA certified and all this wonderful stuff. But the other side, we all need to get a grip on the information passing. And information passing does not need to be into feeding the fires of cancel culture and drama world that goes on in Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It needs to be the passing of information so that things can be better. Do you know what the charter is on most social media? People don't have a clue. You know what it is?
I do
sharing information to make the world a better place. That's their basic core. If you look at follow the money, and you look at their stock and stuff like that, and they have the mission statements and things like this before you invest and all that. Most of them are all around the same thing: sharing information to make the world a better place. Well, how did we step off into the drama queen world of and all that nightmare that goes on? And how did we miss that? Because that's the core focus. That's what people invest money in and so on. So all of us need to get back to the basics on what do we have available in our county. And now I'm starting to do a little infomercial. So call the VoTech radio and we'll do, you know what I'm saying? We'll get the information out. But what can we all do to join hands and pass that information? So I want to know from you, where do I go when I leave here? I'm going to start following your events.
Okay.
I want to know, where do I go to see that?
Okay, so we do have not a Facebook page, a website of the Lee County Career and Technical Center, and you can go to the Lee County Public Schools.
What's that URL?
It's long.
Tell me what it is. Now I'm going to scold you.
Okay.
So the scolding is, I can line up 10 businessmen in a row, and I can tell you exactly who is marketing in today's world and who is not. Who is branding and who is not. I can ask them what their URL is. Some people will say, about 8 of them will just rattle it off. 2 of them will say, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Okay, that's your website handle. What is it? xyz.com. Okay, now I'm going to ask all of you, are you in social media? And everybody will say yes. And then I'm going to say, what is your Facebook site URL? Well, I'm in Facebook at this. No, that is not my question. My question is, if your business is xyz.com and it is named XYZ, then Facebook should also be facebook.com/XYZ. Otherwise, what you're going to tell me is facebook.com/X-Y-Z- a big old long account number -- Who can remember that? Who has that printed on their business card?
Exactly.
So when you have over 2 billion people logging on to a specific site, like a Facebook, I'm and we can't take away, they are the largest traffic site on the planet.
True.
So when you have that much activity there, we have to get down these things. Okay. So the URL, if I'm going to be able to go to your website, what is that website? Nobody
okay.
told you this was going to be easy, right?
No, exactly. In the hot seat I go. It's okay though. Off the Lee County Public Schools website, you can access all of the schools. You can click onto any of our websites. So it looks like mine.
And Lee County Public Schools website is what?
Sites.google.com /LeeCountySchools.com, and then you add LCCTC, which is me, on there, the Career Center.
Okay. All right. So that's great, and we need to help you with that so we can shorten that deal up.
Okay.
Literally, the business community. If you're talking to and you need people in the trades, and you need plumbers, and you need contractors and stuff like that. And I'm not knocking. They build beautiful stuff I can't do.
Yeah.
But on this side and on my side of the world, I need to be able to tell that guy, look, go on your phone or go on your xyz.com. Period.
Here we are. Yes.
It's all that long
I
handle
agree. Simple's
stuff.
good. I agree.
Yeah. Simple.
So I guess reaching out to you is going to be my best answer.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's another infomercial plug that everybody needs to. If you want me to come to your stuff, or you want to get it out there, we need to do that. Otherwise, the alternative is you get to tell me something. I'm going to write my version of it, or I'm going to record my version of it, or I'm going to do a little face video of my version of what you're talking about in your business or your curriculum here at the schools. That's not what we need to hear. We need to hear specifically from you and through those digital channels. That's something I can see that is would be important. And I know that and this takes away nothing from what you're doing, because you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Everybody in the county. And if I was sitting in front of the school board themselves, I would tell them, guys, gals, we need to stop it with this this information nonsense. One of the biggest things that a parent, and just because I don't have kids at school does not mean I'm not a parent. Mine are just grown.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing of a parent is knowing that our kids, when we send them into the public school system, that first of all, they're safe.
Correct.
And if they're not, you got some hostile folks on your hands.
Absolutely, yes.
I don't think I've ever been to any kind of meetings or seen things that have the volatile potential as things going on with school boards and kids and on and on. But we need to make sure our kids are safe. And I know that this school system, working in conjunction with the sheriff's department and stuff like that, everybody goes overboard.
Top priority,
and
absolutely.
And extremely top priority.
Yes.
And then the next thing is what's happening? What are our kids really being taught? And how do we share information? If it's always just a formal meeting and somebody's dropping the gavel down and, okay, you've had your 2 minutes of well, now shut up and go sit down and that kind of, believe me, that does not get us nowhere.
Correct.
And I think that back and forth, we need that good sharing. All of us have only so many minutes and hours in a day.
Right.
That's the one thing that makes us all equal. We're all, we all have that same thing. So, how do we use that?
I think one of my biggest jobs, and safety being topmost, and I'm very proud of our instructors here with the steps they go through too, because we have a lot of equipment and
Sure,
materials here. So
absolutely.
I'm very proud of their efforts for safety. But I think my job, I'm not the expert in these fields. I'm not a math teacher. There is a math teacher who majored in that. They are the expert. I am a facilitator. I am the administrator facilitator to make this. And just like here, I am not a carpenter or a plumber, and I'm not a welder. I'm not those things. But I am here as their voice. And I think one of the most important jobs I have is to listen to you, to the community, to listen to students, to listen to parents, and to listen to these instructors. That is my job, and then try to make everything work well together. I do not have all the answers by no means, but I do believe by listening is the way that we conquer this war. And I appreciate you putting this out there for me, and I do want to reach out to you so that our events can be
So
broadcasted.
is there you have an office, obviously.
I do, right here, yes.
And is there a phone number directly into this VoTech that's public that people can call?
Yes, sir.
What's that number?
276
Uh-huh.
346
Okay,
1960
okay,
is the main line here. And
All
folks
right,
can
and-
call and talk to us anytime.
okay. And then the website, we need to get to the website.
It is sites.google.com.
Okay,
It'll get you there, and then it's Lee County Schools. And so then at the end, you can add either of the schools. So ours is Lee County Career and Technical Center, so it's LCCTC.
Okay.
Like for Thomas Walker High School, be TWHS / so. But if you get to the Lee County page, you can click on the school, and it will take you to the website.
okay.
So we
Now,
can post
do you
things.
guys utilize the local newspaper to print your event schedules?
They are so good to us, the newspaper is, and we try to put out there everything like scholarship recipients. We've had several people who come in and want to do scholarships for nursing and for other students, DAR. There's lots of opportunities, and we try to get everything out there. We try to get out credentials. We just ran in the paper, and I know I didn't get a lot of feedback from it, but we ran all the completers, all the people who completed a program. We put their name in there, the students' names in there, and we also put in there about credentialing. So that was put in the paper back in the spring, I think. So we try. I don't do enough, but I do try to. One of the things I always tell the instructors is, please send me anything that's happening, what you're doing, what's going on, so we can get it out there. So I'm so glad that you contacted me about this, because there's some upcoming events that I did want to share.
Okay, good. Let's go through those. And before you share those events, I want to encourage all of our listening audience to read the paper. But as we know, we are in a digital world, so there's a lot of folks that maybe aren't reading the paper as much as they used to. But the Powell Valley News does have an online. They have gone online with their stuff as well. So I encourage people to get their online subscription for that. And that way, if they're not seeing it in print, they can see it digitally, on their phones and computers and tablets and stuff like that. So that's another great thing. There's a little plug for them. But that way, I'm just trying to get all avenues of getting this information out there, to the public and stuff. So, all right, what's our events coming up?
Okay, so November the 19th, we spoke about job shadowing. On November the 19th is job shadowing day.
Okay.
Okay, and then December the 7th at 6 o'clock is the craft committees, and we have them broken down in these areas: agriculture, trade and industry, which would include the skills classes, family and consumer science, military science, health and medical sciences, business and information technology, and then mechanics, auto body, and small engines are grouped together. Okay. So we will have those meetings that night. We invite all of the public to come out, all the business owners to come in and give us some input on those areas.
And that's on December 7th?
December the 7th at 6 o'clock, yes. Okay, and the instructors will be reaching out to business owners,
okay,
trying to get them to come. Then on January the 10th through February the 21st, we will have night classes, and these are like fix-it-up classes. Normally these are the options. Now I can't promise that everybody, based on events and teachers' lives, but we have welding, personal care class, culinary, ag class, farm machinery, small engines, auto mechanics, auto body, beginner sewing, horticulture, basic computer, and entrepreneurship are the offerings that we have. So, and we'll try to make sure we get that information out closer to that time, January the 10th, okay? Now, I do want to put a plug out to the assistant principal, Ray Robbins. He has, a lot of this, he owns this, because he came up with some great ideas and activities for the vocational school, and we're so glad to have him. So, Mr. Robbins, thank you. On January the 21st, we're going to have a vocational Alumni Day. So
Okay.
people who actually came to school here, got training, received training, they can come in and visit the school, come back and tell us some things about what they've accomplished and check out our program and offer some insight. So we've not really got a time set for that because we was thinking just that all day, from like 10 to 3 or so,
Sure.
But we'll nail down some times about that later. I know it's a little farther out there. But what inspired that was one day it was 4:15. All the students were gone. We was all heading out. The work day was over, and the truck pulls up, and this lady came out of the truck, and she said, "Can I please just come in?" She said, "I came to school here," and it was a very touching moment. She came in. She was the second nursing class that came through this program, so it was in 75 or 76, and I was born in 75, so it was a reality for me, And she came in and she found her picture on the wall back there. They keep the nursing photos, and she was so excited. And so I said, what, we need to offer that to people.
Absolutely.
So just a chance to come back.
Great referral marketing. I mean, that's just
Absolutely.
Where I started. A lot of people, they don't forget your roots, I guess is the saying. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And where you came from and where you're at now.
And what you can give back.
Absolutely. There's a gentleman that owns Earthlink is moving into Norton area, which is going to greatly affect our whole area as far as jobs and stuff like that. I mean, that's a worldwide company. The president CEO of Earthlink, and I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he actually went to school in this area and was raised and stuff like that in, I think, Wise County and stuff like that. So that's what he's doing. He's bringing his company, a branch of his company here, which is going to employ hundreds of people in Southwest Virginia, and all because this is where he started. So
Yeah.
that whole alumni thing, just great idea. Yeah, absolutely.
So then on January the 28th, we're going to have, that's the teachers have to have names in for mock interviews. So we're going to set up interviews. And this is where I also need help from the public. They're used to me. I talk to the students, and the teachers have the students all the time.
Sure.
So they're very comfortable with us. But that's not how an interview is going to be. So we're going to invite in people that day. Local business people, please come out. If you're interested in coming and participating, we're going to set mock interviews. We'll have scheduled times, and we'll try to target the field they're in, those students, and then bring them in just to do an interview, just to get that feeling and that process down. Okay. So we'll need help on that, and that date is scheduled for February the 4th, mock interview day.
Okay.
All right, April the 8th, we're going to have a vendor day sale. There are lots of things that are produced here. So, for example, carpentry class has lots of rocking chairs down there, some nice picnic tables, and some yard furniture that they build and sell. Also, they've constructed deer blinds, dog houses. So those things, the kids love that. And then horticulture has the greenhouse back there, and they have a spring plant sale. So we geared around towards Mother's Day, so we're going to set the vendor day for April the 8th. And also they've been producing some things with our plasma cutter machine, some different types of projects. So we're going to have that.
So the general public can come in and buy? And
They can. What we usually do is set up where they don't come in the building. You can just pull in the parking lot, and the stuff's set up out there and available at a earmarked time. They took orders online before. That worked out nicely. I mean, there's not going to be enough plants to supply all of Lake County,
Sure.
of course. But, it's just a nice opportunity.
Absolutely.
Students involved, they had from the beginning to the end. So
And the monies that are generated from that go back into the programs?
into those
obviously?
specific programs.
Right.
It takes a lot of money to purchase lumber for students to learn
Absolutely.
how to build, and a lot of welding rods, and a lot of wire for electricity, a lot of stuff for cosmetology. So there's a lot of money goes through here. That the county provides supply money for each instructor to have supplies for their classes.
Very cool.
And then we're going to do a reverse job fair. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not, but the idea is this. Instead of kids going out to a job fair, we're inviting the community in to see our students. And so what we want the students to do is produce displays, have their resume ready, have everything ready, and tell how they're employable. What skills do they have to offer? What credentials have they earned and that they can provide for businesses?
So
here in
instead
Lake
of having me in a job fair and having my little table or booth and selling my company or my industry on why you should be interested in that, I'm going to actually be able to come in and I'm going to go up to a table or booth, and the students will be selling me on why they should be hired.
Why they should be hired, yes,
so,
correct.
Awesome,
Yes.
very good.
Yes, so we tried to pitch this last year, and we didn't have anybody interested, which we didn't, we was virtual, so it was
Sure.
kind of hard to do. But I'm really excited about that, just to see how much interest we have in that, and see if the kids will jump onto that, because that is them marketing themselves. That's what
Absolutely.
we're after, yes. And then on May the 6th and the 13th, we're going to schedule those 2 days for a job signing day. So you all the time see in the paper where athletes sign with colleges. So we're going to do job signing. Anybody who has gotten to a career technical school, they can, we'll have media there available that day to spotlight them. They signed on with a career and technical school, or if they just got a job with the field that they're coming out of. If they're a carpenter and they come out and go straight to work with contractors, then we want to highlight that also and take a picture with that.
So is that where employers can come in? It's like the draft. I can actually.
So if they will already have been interviewed with you, have jobs.
Gotcha.
And then we're just going to highlight that. So we'll bring in you and the student that you're hiring and have that photo up.
I think
just
that's
like
great.
on the signing day, yes.
Yeah.
And if they're going to go to a school, or anything that they have acquired a skill here and it has offered them a benefit as they graduate,
Sure.
for employment or otherwise. So we want that to happen. And I think one of the last things that I do want to talk about is internships.
Okay.
Before I go to internships, I do want to say there's lots of questions about the co-op program. And co-op is when kids can leave the day, they can sign out early and go to a job. And that was set up because of employers who don't have night shifts or evening shift opportunities. But so in order for the students to do that, they take a marketing class, and then they can go into work. Well, we don't have. And I don't know what the decline is. I mean, there's also a large decline. Everywhere you look, we're hiring signs. So, but we don't have a lot of interest in that. But that is an available option. If employees have students that are working, they can take the marketing class and then leave early in the fall semester. They already have early leave option in the spring semester as a senior already. So it gives them the opportunity. I think that we talked about this at the advisory meeting the other night. We really feel like that the early leave option that was offered to seniors for the spring semester has affected our co-op program, because they know they're already going to get to leave early and they don't have to have a job to do it, in
Sure.
the spring area. So our side, we're wanting it to be a job, even if it's fast food industry, they go to work at fast food or go on to work at Walmart or any job that they have, we do allow that option. So I think the community feels like that has went away, but it's not. It's still there, because I do get a lot of questions about.
I think that's something that's extremely important to get out to the employers in the community. Years ago, I had a large staffed company, and we had about 100 employees, and I got into in the area we were in. I got in with the school in this same kind of program, and it was it was where we were bringing in students. And let me tell you something, in a climate where you don't know if somebody's going to show up for work or not, mm-hmm. These students are when they enter these programs, they also enter, and they're not only scrutinized by the employer, but also they have their teachers and instructors also monitoring, making sure that, look, this isn't just go fishing or something like that, but it's actually, you're at work and so on. So there's some crisscross stuff there that when an employer brings on these students into these job positions, a lot of times you got a lot better employee status development there than just hiring somebody off the street, because if you don't show up for work and things like that, and you're in a work program through the school, well, guess what? You're liable get out of that work program at the school.
You're monitored
yeah,
to the employee plus the school.
Absolutely.
So also with that, Miss Garrett, Cindy Garrett is our, she is the co-op instructor and the marketing instructor. She does a fantastic job. She has forums, and she goes out and they have a time set aside to go visit the employers for our students and make sure that they have timesheets to fill out. It's all just like what you're saying. It's a structured process.
Yeah, that's great. Great program.
So that is still available. And I guess the last thing, and thank you for your time, is the internships. I want to talk about internships for a minute. These have been successful the past 2 summers. So what I want to ask the Lee County businesses is, would you please sponsor an internship? So let's start small. We can do internships through the Department of Labor and through VDOE, and that is a big process. And when I say Department of Labor, usually I feel like I scare the employers away, because that is, of course, I'm sure more paperwork and things, So I have to handle the education side. They would handle the Department of Labor side. But United Way of Southwest Virginia does a lot of programs for the school system. They offer this major clarity program that students can log on to. So if you're a student and you want to be an astronaut, well, you can log into Major Clarity, determine you want to be an astronaut, and then it will show you all the available locations that you can go to school in the whole United States. Everything that's available to you about being an astronaut is in that program, and it's just it's a great opportunity for students, and all of them have access to Major Clarity from 5th grade up.
Great.
And they can log on to that, and it does little questionnaires. Also, Major Clarity offers us the chance to do internships. So it's a set-up process, step by step. First of all, Lee County has offered internships for the past 2 summers. I asked the board and the superintendent, and they graciously allowed us to. So we offered 5 internships this past summer, but only 2 were accepted. Okay, so 2 out of the 5. So we offered clerical, and we offered IT, and we offered maintenance and mechanic at the bus shop. And there was one more that I'm leaving out somewhere. But the 2 that picked up was the custodial, that's the one, custodial and the mechanic at the bus shop. So we had 2 students that did internships. The requirement for it it's 88 hours only in the summer, and you have to pay the minimum wage. So on the Major Clarity side, the student, once you're set up as a business, the student logs on to Major Clarity, and they actually apply for your job with application. And then it shoots them out a little questionnaire. There's about 25 questions, and you as the employer can pick which questions you want to know. So it's questions like, have you ever been in a difficult situation, and how would you react? Pressure, and just general questions. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and things like that. So you can pick out of those 25 questions which ones you want to know about the employee, and get that rolling. Then they have to complete a resume and submit that, and then they have to go through an interview process, which involves you. You set up the interview and have the students come in, all the people who apply, and interview them, and then put them into the internship. So it's a very good process that goes through. So the requirements that you would have would be for you to complete that little process of hiring them, just like you would anybody.
Sure.
And then the minimum wage. And it's an 88-hour minimum, and you set the hours for the students. So that is something I would love to see happen, because the only person, Lee County Public Schools has done the interviews or the internship, but I would love to push that out into the community and get more people. The other day at the advisory committee, some of the folks were like, hey, yeah, we'll be interested in doing that. So this is kind of a mini version of what a larger apprenticeship or internship would be like. The other thing is, I can offer, through the education side, internships, and I know that in the past they've done some of these that are free. You're not required to pay. It's just the student who's really eager to learn about that aspect, and will give you some time, to come and do a little small internship. So, those are options that I can pursue and offer out once they're available from the community for me to
So
offer.
the best way would be for a business owner to contact your office?
It would
explain
be,
what kind of
great.
business they're in and go from there.
Yes, and that night at the subcommittee meetings, the craft committees, I will have that on the agenda as one of the items. Anybody interested, we can do this process. But this is a lighter version than what, like, if it's really detailed to do an apprenticeship with the Department of Labor, it is, but it's very beneficial to students. And, if you are a large business owner and you're going to be pushing new interns into the job, and you want to train them the way you want them to be trained, this is a great opportunity that's provided by the education side and the Department of Labor. We can set that up, and it's a little bit of paperwork. I've got the packets in there, and I have met with Diana Lyons with the Department of Labor and discussed this in detail. We almost had the Woodway Water Authority was going to do an apprenticeship internship with a student, but they, just like everywhere else, we're all in a crunch. Everybody has a crunch, and they needed a person right then. By the time we had complete the process, it would have been too far out for them,
Right.
So that would, but that is options that we do have.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this has been a little bit longer than we normally do, but a lot of information, a lot of great information, and I'd like to invite you back. Maybe we can be on a more regular pace so that we can get information and utilize everything we spoke about. We can do our part to making sure that the general public is hearing this and,
Yes,
and
sir.
so on. Mark, you're doing a great job. We appreciate everything that VoTech does for our kids and community, and we'll call this a wrap.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Yep.